Captain Gray stood at the observation deck of his cloaked ship, watching the humans with growing confusion. After 3 weeks of surveillance, he still couldn't make sense of what he was seeing. The mighty Stellar Alliance had sent him to assess Earth's military capabilities, but instead of finding primitive weapons, he was watching something that made him question everything he knew about warfare. Below, at a military testing facility in the desert, humans were conducting what appeared to be weapon trials. But these weren't any weapons Gray had ever seen before. They looked like cleaning equipment, modified and strengthened to become tools of war. The captain adjusted his visual enhancers, making sure they weren't malfunctioning. A soldier in brown combat gear stepped forward, holding what appeared to be a thick tube connected to a large tank. With a thunderous roar, the device sprang to life, shooting a powerful stream of water mixed with tiny black particles. The stream hit a thick steel target 100 meters away, and to Gray's amazement, cut through it like it was made of paper. "Record this," Gray ordered his science officer, Tom. "The humans are using pressurized water and sand as a weapon." He couldn't keep the disbelief from his voice. Tom worked quickly at his station, documenting everything. "Sir, according to our scans, they've modified what appears to be industrial cleaning equipment. The water pressure is incredible, and they've added abrasive materials to increase cutting power." Gray watched as more soldiers stepped forward, each carrying different versions of these strange weapons. One had what looked like a massive fan strapped to his back, which created wind strong enough to flip over vehicles. Another wielded something that shot streams of foam that quickly hardened into unbreakable barriers. The captain paced the deck, his four-fingered hand rubbing his chin. In all his years of space exploration, he had never seen anything like this. Every civilized race in the galaxy used energy weapons, plasma cannons, or at least basic projectile firearms. But these humans, they had taken the most ordinary tools and turned them into weapons of war. A loud explosion drew his attention back to the testing ground. A large vehicle, something that looked like it belonged on a construction site, had just launched what appeared to be quick-drying concrete high into the air. The substance rained down on a test area, instantly immobilizing everything it touched. "Sir," Tom called out, his voice tense, "you need to see these readings. The water jets they're using. They're reaching pressures that could potentially penetrate our standard shield configurations. Our defenses are designed to disperse energy weapons and deflect solid projectiles, but a continuous stream of high-pressure matter." He left the sentence unfinished. Gray felt a chill run down his spine. The Stellar Alliance had chosen Earth as their next conquest, based on initial scans showing no advanced energy weapons or spacefaring capabilities. But now, watching these humans turn simple tools into devastating weapons, he wasn't so sure about the wisdom of that decision. He watched as a group of engineers excitedly discussed modifications to what appeared to be a massive vacuum cleaner. Their faces lit up with enthusiasm as they worked, showing none of the grim determination usually seen in weapons developers. They seemed to be having fun. "Tom, send a priority message to command," Gray ordered, his eyes still fixed on the testing ground. "Tell them we need to reassess our invasion plans. These humans—" He paused, searching for the right words. "These humans are different. They don't think like us. They don't fight like us. And that makes them dangerous." As if to emphasize his point, a test dummy protected by armor similar to Stellar Alliance combat suits was completely shredded by a combination of pressurized salt water and crushed glass. The humans cheered and high-fived each other, acting as if they were at a celebration rather than a weapons test. Gray turned away from the window, his mind racing. He had come expecting to find primitives playing with basic weapons. Instead, he had found innovators who could turn anything into a tool of war. For the first time in his military career, he felt genuine concern about facing an enemy in battle. As he walked back to his command chair, Gray couldn't shake the feeling that the Stellar Alliance had made a terrible mistake in choosing Earth as their next target. These humans, with their ridiculous yet devastating weapons, were going to be far more trouble than anyone had anticipated. The massive screen in Earth's Defense Force headquarters lit up with the alien transmission. Commander Jack Stone stood before it, his weathered face showing no emotion as the purple-skinned alien delivered its message. Behind him, the room full of military leaders and politicians held their breath. "People of Earth," the alien spoke in perfect English, "I am High Commander Rex of the Stellar Alliance. Your planet has been chosen for integration into our empire. Your weapons are primitive, your defenses inadequate. Surrender now, and we will make your transition peaceful. Resist, and we will crush you. You have 24 hours to respond." The screen went dark. For a moment, nobody spoke. Then someone in the back of the room laughed. The sound broke the tension, and soon others joined in. Jack didn't laugh. He was too busy thinking about the modified pressure washer tests he'd watched last week. "They think we're primitive," he said, turning to face the room. "They think we're weak because we don't have fancy energy weapons or plasma guns. But that's exactly why we're going to win." He walked to a side table and picked up what looked like a garden hose nozzle attached to a backpack. "This," he said, holding up the device, "is a modified pressure washer that can cut through 6 inches of steel. And they have no idea it exists because they're too busy looking for laser guns." The room grew quiet again, but this time with interest rather than fear. Defense Minister Bill walked forward, his face serious. "Commander Stone, are you suggesting we fight an advanced alien civilization with cleaning equipment?" Jack smiled. "Not just cleaning equipment, sir. We've got modified concrete pumps that can spray quick hardening foam up to a mile away, industrial fans strong enough to create localized tornadoes, vacuum systems that can disrupt their shield frequencies. The aliens are looking for weapons, but we've turned every tool in our arsenal into something they won't expect." The room burst into discussion. Some thought it was crazy, others believed it might work. The debate grew heated until a loud whistle cut through the noise. Everyone turned to look at Dr. Thompson, who stood by her computer. "I've analyzed their message transmission," she said, her eyes bright with excitement. "Their shields are energy-based, designed to stop plasma and traditional projectiles. But our water jets, our concrete sprayers, those are continuous streams of matter. Their shields aren't designed to handle that kind of attack." Jack nodded. "Exactly. They're expecting us to fight like everyone else in their galaxy. But we're human. We don't fight like anyone else." He walked to the central display and brought up images of their modified industrial weapons. "Look at what we've already done. We took pressure washers and turned them into cutting weapons that would make their energy swords look like toys. We modified leaf blowers into personal shield disruptors. We're using industrial vacuum systems to create localized gravity distortions." The defense minister studied the images, his expression changing from doubt to consideration. "And you believe these tools can stand against their advanced technology?" "I don't just believe it," Jack replied. "I'm counting on it. Their entire military doctrine is based on energy weapons and traditional projectiles. They've never faced an enemy who fights with the weapons we're using. They won't know how to defend against them." He turned to address the entire room. "They think we're primitive because we don't have energy weapons. They think we're weak because we use simple machines. But that's our strength. We've taken every tool, every piece of equipment we have, and turned it into something they've never seen before." The room was silent as his words sank in. Then the defense minister stepped forward. "What do you need, Commander?" Jack's smile grew wider. "Every pressure washer in the country, all the industrial fans we can find, every concrete pump and vacuum system we can get our hands on. And most importantly," he paused, looking around the room, "I need every engineer and mechanic who's ever looked at a piece of equipment and thought, 'I wonder what else this could do.'" The defense minister nodded. "You'll have it all within 12 hours." Jack turned back to the dark screen where the alien's message had appeared. "They gave us 24 hours to surrender. Let's use that time to show them why they should never underestimate human creativity. Around the room, people began moving with purpose. They had a message to send back to the Stellar Alliance, and it would be delivered not with words, but with the most ridiculous weapons the galaxy had ever seen. The first alien ships appeared over New York City exactly 24 hours after their ultimatum. Their sleek vessels gleamed in the morning sun, energy weapons humming with power. Captain Gray stood on his bridge, watching the primitive human military gather below. He almost felt sorry for them. "Sir," Tom reported from his station, "the humans are moving some kind of industrial equipment into position. Should we be concerned?" Gray didn't even bother checking the scans. "They're probably trying to build defenses. Begin the attack." The first plasma bolts lit up the sky, streaking toward Earth's defensive positions. But instead of panic, the humans below seemed calm. Too calm. As the plasma approached, massive industrial fans roared to life, their modified blades spinning at impossible speeds. The plasma bolts hit the wall of moving air and scattered, becoming harmless light shows. "Impossible," Gray whispered. But there was no time to think about it, because the humans were responding, and their response was unlike anything he had ever seen. Hundreds of modified pressure washers fired at once. Streams of water mixed with diamond dust shot upward at incredible pressures, catching the light like deadly rainbows. The alien ship shields flickered as the continuous streams hit them. These weren't energy blasts that could be deflected or solid projectiles that could be stopped. These were ongoing torrents of abrasive matter, and the shields had no protocol for handling them. "Shields failing on decks 3 through 7. Tom shouted. "The water is getting through. It's cutting through the hull." Gray watched in horror as one of his support ships lost altitude, its hull sliced open by what was essentially a very powerful pressure washer. The ship's crew evacuated in escape pods, which were promptly caught in waves of quick-drying foam shot from modified concrete pumps on the ground. "Launch the ground troops," Gray ordered. 5,000 elite alien warriors deployed from the ships, their personal shields glowing as they descended toward Earth. They carried the finest energy rifles in the galaxy, each one worth more than a small city. They never stood a chance. The humans met them with what looked like modified leaf blowers strapped to their backs. But instead of air, these machines sprayed clouds of fine particles that stuck to the alien shields. Within seconds, the particles began vibrating at the exact frequency needed to disrupt the shield generators. Personal barriers flickered and died. "Sir," Tom's voice was reaching panic levels. "They're using industrial vacuum systems modified to create localized gravity distortions. Our troops can't maintain position." Gray watched as his elite warriors were tossed around like leaves in a storm. Those who managed to land were immediately sprayed with streams of salt water that short-circuited their advanced weapons. Others found themselves stuck in rapidly hardening foam that their energy blades couldn't cut through. A massive shadow fell over the command ship. Gray looked up to see what the humans had dubbed Big Bertha, a modified mining water cannon mounted on a skyscraper. The machine was ridiculously large, looking more like a construction tool than a weapon of war. It fired. The stream hit with the force of a small tsunami, enhanced with a mix of sand and crushed glass. The command ship's shields held for exactly 3 seconds before failing completely. Water cut through metal like it was paper, and warning alarms blared throughout the ship. "All ships, retreat," Gray ordered, watching as his fleet was systematically taken apart by modified cleaning equipment and construction tools. "Full retreat." As his damaged ship limped away from Earth, Gray looked at the battlefield below. His elite troops were trapped in hardening foam or running from high-pressure water streams. His magnificent ships were cut to pieces by pressurized sand and water. And the humans, the supposedly primitive humans, were already collecting the fallen alien technology, probably thinking of ways to attach it to their cleaning equipment. "Sir," Tom said quietly, "Command will never believe this report." Gray watched as a group of humans used what appeared to be a modified car wash system to clean alien blood off their equipment. They were laughing and taking pictures, acting like they'd just finished a home improvement project rather than won a battle against an advanced alien race. No, Gray agreed, they won't. But they'll learn soon enough. These humans, they don't just think outside the box. They've taken the box, filled it with pressurized water and sand, and turned it into a weapon. Dr. Maria Thompson walked through the captured alien ship, running her hand along a deep cut in the metal wall. Behind her, a group of scientists and military officials followed, taking notes and pictures. The cut was clean, made by one of their modified pressure washers during the battle. "It's actually quite simple," she said, turning to face the group. "The aliens built their entire defense system around stopping things that they thought of as weapons. Energy beams, bullets, explosives. But they never considered that someone would attack them with cleaning equipment." She pulled out a tablet and showed them a recording from the battle. On the screen, a stream of pressurized water mixed with diamond dust cut through an alien ship's shield like it wasn't even there. Their shields are designed to detect and stop sudden impacts or energy bursts, but our pressure washers, they deliver a continuous stream of matter. It's not a burst they can deflect. It's more like, well, imagine trying to stop a river with a bulletproof vest. One of the military officials raised his hand. "But why does it work so well? Surely their advanced technology should be able to handle a bit of water." Maria smiled and walked over to a damaged piece of alien shield technology. "That's the really interesting part. We're not just using water. We're using water mixed with various abrasive materials at pressures that would make an industrial diamond cutter jealous. And we're not trying to punch through their shields like a bullet. We're washing through them." She turned on a small demonstration model she had set up. A stream of blue-tinted water shot out, carrying tiny sparkling particles. "See these diamond dust particles? When they're carried by water at extremely high pressure, they don't hit the shield all at once. They arrive in a continuous stream, each particle scratching and wearing away at the shield's energy field. It's like sandpaper on wood. No single grain of sand does much damage, but the continuous action breaks down the material." The group watched as she demonstrated on a piece of alien metal, the stream quickly cutting through it. Their shields are fantastic at stopping things that hit hard and fast, but they have no defense against things that cut slowly and continuously. It's the difference between punching a wall and wearing it away with running water. A young engineer spoke up. "Is that why our modified vacuum systems work so well against their personal shields?" "Exactly." Maria walked over to one of the captured alien shield generators. "Their personal shields work on the same principle as their ship shields. They're expecting attacks to come in the form of energy bursts or physical projectiles. But our vacuum systems create continuous disruptions in the air around them. It's like trying to maintain a soap bubble in a sandstorm. The shield can't compensate fast enough for all the tiny disruptions happening at once." She pulled up another video, this one showing alien troops being tossed around by modified industrial fans. "And these? The aliens designed their gravity systems to resist sudden changes in force, but our industrial fans create continuous air pressure. Their systems don't register it as an attack, so they don't even try to counter it." An older scientist shook his head in amazement. "So we're basically exploiting the fact that they over-engineered their defenses. They were so focused on stopping weapons that they left themselves vulnerable to ordinary physics." "That's right," Maria said, walking back to the cut in the wall. "They built their technology to fight wars their way. Energy weapons, plasma cannons, gravity bombs, all very advanced, very impressive, and all completely useless against a good old-fashioned pressure washer turned up to 11. She ran her finger along the smooth edge of the cut. "The best part is, they can't easily adapt their shields to stop our weapons without making them vulnerable to their own conventional weapons. If they modify their shields to stop continuous streams of matter, they'll lose their ability to deflect energy weapons and projectiles." "So what you're saying," the military official said slowly, "is that we've won not because we're more advanced, but because we're less advanced," Maria finished. "We looked at what we had. cleaning equipment, construction tools, industrial machinery, and we turned them into weapons that their advanced technology never expected to face. Sometimes the simplest solution is the best solution, even if that solution is just spraying aliens with really, really high-pressure water. The largest hardware store in Detroit had become an unlikely military research facility. Engineers and mechanics swarmed through the aisles, grabbing leaf blowers, pressure washers, and industrial fans. In the parking lot, Commander Jack Stone watched as they tested their latest creation, a modified wood chipper that shot streams of sawdust at speeds high enough to strip paint from metal. "Think bigger," he shouted to the crowd of inventors. "If it can clean, cut, blow, suck, or spray, we can turn it into a weapon." The enthusiasm was infectious. A group of plumbers had already converted a septic pump truck into what they called a shield disruptor cannon. The pressurized spray of water and chemicals could short out alien energy shields at ranges of up to half a mile. Nobody wanted to ask what else was mixed in with the water. At the far end of the lot, construction workers were modifying concrete pumps. They had discovered that mixing quick-dry cement with certain alien materials created a foam that could trap enemy ships in midair. The aliens' energy weapons couldn't cut through it, and their ships weren't strong enough to break free. "Sir," a young engineer ran up to Jack, his face covered in dust, but grinning widely. "You need to see this. We've done something amazing with the car wash equipment." Jack followed him to what used to be an automatic car wash. The rotating brushes had been replaced with strips of alien metal, and the spray nozzles now shot a mixture of water and crushed crystals from the alien ship's power cores. When activated, it created a swirling vortex of water and crystal that could tear through alien armor like tissue paper. "We're calling it the spin cycle," the engineer said proudly. "The aliens won't know what hit them." Inside the store, more innovations were taking shape. A team of farmers had taken every leaf blower in stock and modified them to shoot clouds of fine metal particles. When the particles hit alien technology, they would stick to the surface and interfere with their sensors. They called it the glitter gun, though the aliens probably wouldn't appreciate the humor. In the garden section, someone had discovered that the alien shield technology had a strange reaction to common fertilizer. Mix it with water, spray it from a modified garden sprayer, and it would create a fog that their sensors couldn't penetrate. Jack watched as they loaded up dozens of trucks with fertilizer and sprayers, turning lawn care equipment into battlefield control systems. "Commander," Dr. Thompson called from near the paint section, "remember how their shields can't handle continuous streams of matter? Well, look at this." She had hooked up a paint sprayer to a modified alien power source. Instead of paint, it shot a fine mist of metallic particles suspended in water. When the stream hit an alien shield generator they were testing on, the shield didn't just fail, it completely overloaded. "The continuous stream overworks their shield generators," she explained excitedly. "They're designed to push back against solid objects, but this mist is too fine and constant. Their shields waste energy trying to block every tiny particle until they burn out." Jack looked around the store-turned-workshop with pride. Humanity wasn't just adapting to fight the aliens, they were having fun doing it. Every aisle had been turned into a weapons development station. The checkout counters were now testing areas for small arms made from modified spray bottles and air compressors. A loud cheer erupted from the pool supply section. Someone had figured out how to turn pool cleaning equipment into underwater weapons. The aliens wouldn't be safe even if they tried to hide in Earth's oceans. "Sir," his radio crackled. "The home improvement store across town reports they've successfully modified 30 industrial vacuum cleaners into gravity disruptors. And the cleaning supply warehouse just finished converting their entire stock of pressure washers into ship cutters." Jack smiled as he watched more trucks arrive, bringing in equipment from stores and warehouses across the city. The aliens thought humanity was primitive because they didn't have energy weapons or plasma cannons. But as he looked at the incredible array of modified tools and equipment around him, he knew they had something better: creativity and the ability to turn anything into a weapon. "Keep working," he called out to the crowd. "If it's in this store, I want to know how we can use it to fight aliens." The sound of testing, building, and excited shouts filled the air. The hardware store had become humanity's answer to alien technology, and business was booming. Captain Gray stood on the bridge of his new flagship, watching Earth's cities through the viewscreen. His first defeat had been humiliating, but now he had returned with the largest fleet in Stellar Alliance history. 5,000 ships filled the sky, their energy weapons powered up and ready. "This time," he muttered, "we're ready for their tricks." The humans had been given one last chance to surrender. Their response came in the form of thousands of modified street sweepers rolling out of the cities, their spinning brushes replaced with strips of salvaged alien metal. Gray almost laughed at the sight. "They're still using cleaning equipment," one of his officers said with a sneer. "Begin the attack." The fleet opened fire, energy beams, and plasma bolts lighting up the sky. But the humans were ready. Modified industrial fans roared to life on every rooftop, their powerful air currents scattering the energy attacks. And then the street sweepers attacked. The modified brushes spun at impossible speeds, flinging streams of water, diamond dust, and salvaged alien crystals into the air. The mixture caught the sunlight like deadly rainbows as it arced toward the fleet. Gray watched in horror as the continuous streams cut through his ship's improved shields like they weren't even there. "Impossible," he shouted. "We strengthened the shields specifically against their water weapons." "Sir," Tom reported from his station, "they've changed the mixture. They're using our own shield crystals against us. The shields don't know whether to block the attacks or absorb them." Before Gray could respond, a new threat emerged. What looked like modified garbage trucks rolled into position below. Their compactors had been replaced with powerful pumps, and they were spraying streams of quick-drying concrete mixed with crushed alien power cores. The concrete glowed with energy as it hardened around his ships, trapping them in midair. "Launch the ground troops," Gray ordered desperately. "All of them." 100,000 alien warriors descended toward Earth, their personal shields now doubled in strength. But the humans just brought out their latest creation, modified car wash systems. The rotating brushes and spray nozzles created tornadoes of water, crystal dust, and what smelled suspiciously like soap. Alien troops found themselves caught in these swirling vortexes, their shields shorting out as they were spun around like laundry in a washing machine. "Sir, look." Tom pointed at the screen in disbelief. The humans had brought out what appeared to be ordinary street cleaning trucks. But instead of cleaning the streets, they were spraying clouds of fine metal particles into the air. The particles stuck to the aliens' sensor systems, blinding their targeting computers and disrupting their communications. Gray watched as his mighty army was defeated by modified cleaning equipment. Ships were cut apart by pressurized streams of water and crystal. Ground troops were trapped in hardening concrete or spun helplessly in artificial tornadoes. And everywhere he looked, humans were turning more everyday tools into weapons. "The main wave," Tom shouted in panic. "They're bringing out their main wave." Gray looked at the screen and felt his heart stop. Rolling toward his fleet was the largest collection of modified industrial equipment he had ever seen. Concrete pumps converted into long-range artillery. Vacuum trucks turned into gravity disruptors. And in the center, something the humans called Big Bertha 2.0, a massive converted mining water cannon mounted on tracks. Big Bertha 2.0 fired. The stream of pressurized water, mixed with diamond dust and crushed alien technology, hit Gray's flagship with the force of a small moon. The ship's enhanced shields held for exactly 5 seconds before failing completely. Water cut through alien metal like paper, and warning alarms blared throughout the ship. "How?" Gray whispered as his mighty flagship was literally washed apart by a modified mining tool. "How are they beating us with cleaning equipment?" The answer came as he watched a group of humans using what appeared to be modified pool cleaning equipment to round up his stranded troops. They weren't just fighting a war. They were treating it like a massive cleaning job, and they were winning. All ships, Gray commanded, his voice heavy with defeat, full retreat. The humans don't just clean their planet. They clean it of invaders too. As his crippled fleet limped away from Earth, Gray took one last look at the battlefield. His mighty armada had been defeated by pressure washers, street sweepers, and modified cleaning equipment. And somehow, that made the defeat even more humiliating. 3 months after the final battle, Captain Gray sat in his office on the Stellar Alliance's homeworld, staring at his computer screen. He had rewritten his report 12 times, and it still sounded unbelievable. How could he explain to his superiors that the mighty Stellar Alliance had been defeated by modified cleaning equipment? The door chimed, and Tom entered carrying more data tablets. "Sir, you might want to see this. Our long-range scanners just picked up some interesting activity on Earth." Gray looked at the images and felt his jaw drop. The humans weren't dismantling their modified weapons. They were improving them. But not for war. The images showed them using modified pressure washers to clean up space debris in Earth's orbit. Their concrete sprayers were being used to build structures in space, creating instant shelters and repair patches. "They're going to explore space," Tom said, his voice filled with wonder. "And they're going to do it with cleaning equipment." Gray watched as a modified street sweeper, now attached to a small spacecraft, collected floating debris into neat piles. The humans had even adapted their car wash technology to create shields against solar radiation. It was brilliant, ridiculous, and perfectly human. He turned back to his report and began writing again. Final assessment of Earth and human military capabilities. Warning: this report contains information that may seem impossible, absurd, or both. Every word is true. As he wrote, more images came in from Earth. The humans had taken their modified industrial fans and turned them into propulsion systems for small spacecraft. Their vacuum-based gravity disruptors were being adapted into artificial gravity generators. They had even found a way to use their water crystal mixture to cut through asteroids for mining. In conclusion, Gray wrote, "The humans represent a unique threat and opportunity to the Stellar Alliance. Their ability to repurpose simple tools into effective weapons and tools is unmatched in the galaxy. Their thinking is so far outside normal parameters that our advanced technology became a disadvantage." He paused, thinking about the last battle. "Furthermore, I must stress that any future attempts to conquer Earth would be futile. The humans have now had time to experiment with our salvage technology, and they are combining it with their own innovations in ways we never imagined possible." Tom brought in one final image that made Gray laugh out loud. The humans had taken Big Bertha 2.0, their massive water cannon, and mounted it on a space station. But instead of using it as a weapon, they were using it to clear paths through asteroid fields, the powerful stream of water and crystals cutting clean routes for their ships. Most importantly, Gray continued writing, "The humans have shown no interest in revenge or aggression. Instead, they have turned their defensive innovations toward peaceful exploration. They are now using the same tools that defeated our fleet to clean up space debris, build orbital structures, and begin their journey to the stars." He looked at a final image from Earth, a new spacecraft under construction. Its hull was being built using modified concrete sprayers, its shields were adapted from car wash technology, and its propulsion system looked suspiciously like a giant industrial fan. It was the most ridiculous-looking spacecraft he had ever seen. It would probably work perfectly. "My final recommendation," Gray wrote, "is that we extend an offer of peace and alliance to Earth. Their unique approach to technology and problem-solving would be an invaluable asset to the Stellar Alliance. Additionally, I believe we could benefit from their perspective on repurposing existing technology, rather than always seeking to develop new weapons." He sent the report and walked to his window, looking up at the stars. Somewhere out there, humans were preparing to join the galactic community. They would arrive in ships that looked like cleaning equipment, cut paths through space with pressure washers, and probably figure out a way to use pool cleaners as diplomatic tools. And the galaxy would never be the same. In his office, a message appeared on his screen, an invitation from Earth to discuss peaceful relations. Attached was an image of their new space station, proudly displaying a sign that read, "Earth's Interstellar Cleaning Service will make the galaxy sparkle." Gray couldn't help but smile. The humans had taken their victory and turned it into a joke, a business opportunity, and a path to the stars all at once. It was the most human thing they could have done.